Yup. Okay. Mic is working. Desktop audio. Shit. Ah! It's working. Oh, wait, no, it's not capturing my desktop audio. The foot. Wait, isn't it set to the right thing? My default set to. Yeah. What? Wait, what? Why isn't it capturing whatever? What fucking ever? Yeah, sure. Alright. 10. 20. Nope. 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 30. Nope. Nope. There's one. Yeah. 40. Nope. 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 There's some serious out there. Okay. Will we get it? There's only one left. Nope. Damn, I have to keep streaming now. Shit. Space. Damn. The one that I want to try out is the one that I'm not getting right now. This is unfortunate. They're not right. These are the wrong carriers. Where am I in monies? I'm almost poor. Every other SR aircraft carrier. That's not right. Damn, what the fuck? Going through all of my coins, bro. I'm actually getting trolled by every other SR carrier in the game. Oh, hell no. I had to question whether or not I hit 10 there. Fuck. No. You need these. There's... Yeah. Let me make a lot of space real quick. Wait, did she really just eat all of those? Okay. Jesus Christ. Damn. Being trolled right now. Oh wait, what the fuck? I didn't have. I guess I was missing a submarine. I've unironically gotten a copy of every other SR carrier. Being trolled. I'm being trolled by the game that I've been playing for so long. It's part 3. I'm still probably just gonna run this. She's medium, right? So we can probably just see AP guns. I don't think it's worth running Musashi in this. Where is Anchorage? Actually, should I have Cheer in the front? Let me try out some shit. We need you. Oh, actually, I should have put I should have moved New Jersey and FDG. FDG should have been in the middle. I don't know why this isn't picking up Azur Lane. Maybe some stupid shit here. Actually, wait, you can't even mess with audio on this, right? Why doesn't this pick it up? Hold up. I don't know why this isn't picking up That's loud. Azur Lane? It is picking it up. Never mind. Fucking OBS. Yeah, fuck you, OBS.
Hello, guys.
You're a piece of shit, OBS. Wait, I'm assuming this is all still the same, right? Event. Right. Oh no, I can just do the hard modes. I can skip this unless if I really want to farm points. Clear all of them. Am I running AP or HE? Assume that fixes it here, right? Yeah. AP, HE. Who has her gun right now? Nobody. Why does she have this one? I think I gave it to the wrong character. She should have this. Yeah, she fires first, so. NVIDIA does a good job of removing extra sounds in the background. 115. It's probably better to go with this. Think I can change anything else. We beat the hard modes and shit really easily, so it doesn't matter. Fuck, I forgot they added in a button, right? Let me check if I'm remembering this right. What the fuck did they do with the wiki? Oh my lord. Actually, I need to get the name of this plane real quick. Your lab, Jesus. I think this can't be created. HEB 50. Which you can get news. And I continue. Mia. These are AE, yeah. Oh, he added it. So much time. The fuck am I reading? Chainsaw chicken. channels. This okay. It's like short back. It should be an AR guy before it's Sunday. I don't like green. And no pictures. CRTV. Oh no. What's everyday civilians? I want to catch up permission. Non-gacha permiships. What? No gacha exclusive, no limited event. Non-coinable. No non-coinable research ships. I need food. Mm. Might just use Spotify real quick. Injured? Go fuck yourself, you injured piece of shit. Is this here? Why I cannot say slurs on stream? She's got a fucking water makeup, bro. Mm. Spotify ad, but you're having a stroke.
Want a break from the ads? Have you really been far as decided to use even go want to look more like? Call 9.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm done listening to that. Holy shit. Yeah, that is a fucking stroke. How it feels to read a path to nowhere. Weeping at stories. Pain. Pain and suffering. Oh shit. I I haven't updated this, but I think they have gear on, so it shouldn't matter. Yeah, it shouldn't matter. Okay. What the fuck is this? Yeah, I guess he's just reloading a keyboard, just a normal day. Okay. I just go into the voice chat and exist. Go broke. It's all three today. I'm assuming it's the same boss, so I'm gonna just run the same shit. She's not off though, unfortunate. And I don't have the mats to give her 125 either. Same. I didn't even run the cats on that one, did I? Time to put that CV buff into work. Actually, which order does this put them in? Practice. I need to see what like the submarine looks like when they come out. Yeah, that's correct. Hmm. Grid fix a beam. Mm. Oh, what the fuck? Rika damage. Mm. Let's see. Can't change it here. Weird. Why not? Why does that put her? She has her gear on, right? I don't think I've taken her gear off, but I don't know. Yeah, okay, I can totally kill her with this setup. Just take my hand in the rising sun. Just take my hand. I mean, I guess it doesn't really have a lot of health, but at the same time, I guess the time for this is shorter than the time for something like a meta boss. I could be wrong, and I just misremembering the meta bosses. Because I just kind of just hit the button and then move away, and I mean, I guess it does a million damage. Hey, sometimes close to a million damage, but I've broken a million damage, so that's poggers. Yeah. Keep hitting the wrong fucking button.
If I need your body,
Oh, they voiced over it? Okay.
I'll fuck it.
Funny meme. Keep accidentally hitting the wrong button. Whatever. Jesus Christ. The math ain't adding up here. I need food right now, like, so badly. Oh no.
Everybody's been
Funny.
talking about.
Oh no. I love Asmongold video. Let's see.
About
Wait. Pause and probably gonna skip to.
this fucking thing about this fat girl that people are mad because the guy doesn't want to date the fat girl.
Hi, I'm Nathan.
Hello.
It's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you. I'm Sam.
Uh-oh, here we
How are you doing
go.
today?
I'm doing good.
So, in terms of dating, what is something that is like an automatic deal breaker?
I can be really chatty sometimes, and I've had a lot in my past where people will like, I'll talk about something and then they'll just cut me off. I need someone who will listen to me.
What is something that you watch by yourself that's a guilty pleasure that you don't tell anybody?
I mean, I watch a lot of anime. I watch
Me too.
a lot of Asian shows like Korean dramas.
What is your type?
I'm definitely very into Asian men. It's not like a deal breaker or anything.
What race do you think I am?
I have no idea. I don't I don't want to make assumptions.
You want to take a guess?
I would say like maybe white to Asian, maybe.
I am Asian, actually.
Oh.
Yeah. Can we hug?
Sure.
Okay. Hi. How are you?
Good. You're needing a hug.
Thank you.
My man.
We get along on a lot of different topics, but I felt that it was something where I could become a really good friend with you.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just kind of a gut feeling for me.
No, that's totally valid.
I would say that it is a gut feeling. Yeah, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't see anything because I don't have my glasses on.
Bye, Sam.
Goodbye.
So yeah, people are all mad. Third time he has to hug a girl, and the producers say he's a model. Wait, what's this here? So he's hugging the girls to tell if they're fat. I'm really impressed. I like this guy.
That's
Here's
smart.
The thing, is that everybody is getting fucking upset. They're getting mad about this, and everybody's looking for a justification of like why it isn't or isn't okay, it is or is not okay for this guy to not want to date a fat chick. I feel like there's a lot of people that just don't understand the fact that their opinion on this matter doesn't matter to anybody else. If you tell him you have to like fat chicks, he's still not gonna like fat chicks. That's it. Like you're not gonna fucking guilt him into fucking jumping on a grenade. It ain't gonna happen. I don't understand. Like it's so like I see this and people have been talking about this over and over and over. People care so much about having their preferences be socially acceptable. It's exhausting to me how much people want to get the approval of other people whose main hobby is watching TV. Who cares? You know what I mean? Who fucking cares? Book cover judgment. Yeah, I mean, listen. There are some books you probably don't want. Like, there are some books in my backpack. I didn't want that book because it was a heavy book and I didn't want to walk around with a heavy book all the time.
Oh, Rick actually took MVP that one. Oh my god, fat phobia. Fucking get out of here, man. I hate this fucking update they did. It's so fucking stupid. So we hitting all the Sabaton music right now. She literally just touches her and she fucking explodes. Let's see. AVP. I was thinking of Rick on this dude's at them. Green off. I see and okay. Is this the? What is it? What's the shift stage?
Yo, And gals, me Mutahar, and we all were lied to. Now, ladies and gentlemen, today's video is all about Bayonetta. Now, if you don't know the Bayonetta franchise, short just history, it's a franchise that's been running.
Hello, how are you? It's good to see you again. Pardon, it's been a long time. Hopefully this chonker will make up for some of that absence. But first, a little bit of backstory. You'll need it. This has been quite an adventure already. I shall begin by introducing you to Organized Chaos, a very clever name for a very clever man. Organized Chaos is a media-related YouTuber, though he has a very strong progressive lean. It seems as if the bulk of his content is decrying people like Critical Drinker, Nerdrotic, that Star Wars girl, Ben Shapiro, pretty much anyone who's even related to media who doesn't share his far-left politics. He is constantly singing the praises of being woke, diversity, inclusion, and constantly, with righteous fervor, decrying racism in all of its forms, be it imagined or otherwise. But we'll get to that. Where do I come into the mix, though? Well, I am glad you asked, for you see, not too long ago, Disney made a show. It was called Kenobi, and it was really, really bad. If you are interested, myself and my friends on the Every Frame a Pause podcast did an entire watch-through of the Kenobi series with our commentary. It's edited well, and it's a far, far better alternative than watching that wonderful program by yourself. After the first season of Kenobi drew to a close, Organized Chaos went to his channel and he made a video of his thoughts concerning the show and particularly its final episode.
And I have to say, that was a damn good episode. I don't know, I have issues with this series, but overall, I think it was very, very good.
Now, I'd call the Kenobi show many things, and very, very good, it's not amongst them. I responded to his final verdict on the show with the video on my second channel, Dog Bites. Overall, Organized Chaos is a legitimately entertaining fool, and it was very fun to respond to his nonsense. He is everything you want for good response material. Now, my video on him got his attention, and he filled up his own response to me with the exact sorts of character attacks, slander, and general stupidity that is typical of him.
What is the issue is that throughout his video reaction, he engages in mild racism himself, calling Reva a clown person. Something I'd be shocked if he said if Reva was being played by a white man.
Yeah, you heard that correctly. In his first response to me, titled Rags Attacks and Debunks Himself, I was accused of engaging in mild racism because I called Reva, a character in the Kenobi show who's played by a black woman, a clown person. An allegation that we will get to later in this video. Now, I found this response to me so hilarious and incompetent that I simply had to respond myself once more. And you can already see the layers of responseception that's happening here. I made a little graph and everything to try and make it simple. But Organized Chaos wasn't done yet. Shortly afterwards, he made another response back to me, where he makes some interesting claims.
I'm sorry, you think Obi-Wan was setting up Luke to kill Vader? That's fucked up, dude. That's seriously fucked up.
And that is the video that I am responding to here. I wanted to probably put a pin on this and consider this my final say in the matter. Maybe I will make more responses in the future, but I doubt they'll be main channel content. There are other things that I want to cover and will be covered shortly. But this video, I started to work on it. I started to respond and listen to everything inside, and it was just too good. This is some quality main channel content right here. Classic rags, good ol' responsory. It may be just a little confusing at first to know which video is talking, but I think the visuals will help you along and you'll get it quick, so don't worry about that at all. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this adventure with me as I respond to his response of my response of his response of my response of his review of a terrible TV show called Kenobi. But, one more thing before we get started with this chunky response video. From the wonderful talent over at Makeship, I introduce to you the Rags 2.0 plushie. Ooh, that is right. Uh-oh, light theme on YouTube? That's not a good start. Everyone knows that using light theme anywhere on the internet is cringe. Don't be cringe. That's embarrassing.
It is embarrassing.
Just so we're clear. That's embarrassing.
Yes.
Of course he thinks himself a space Jesus. They're a little conceited there.
Now, you've probably already realized why I'm taking a little bit of a different format here. We've reached what they call responseception. How many layers does it go? Oh my gosh, it's you responding to me, responding to you, responding to my response of you. Oh, when does it end? Who's talking? So I feel like I really need to make sure, particularly at this point, we make a clear distinction between me talking now for the current video that you're watching and me talking in the amazing videos that you've already perhaps watched before. I need to make that just clear. Now, the second thing here, to be a little bit more topical to the video I'm responding to, yes, I am based. I am based and dog-pilled. I am definitely based. Super duper coolio. Am I conceited? Yeah, sure. Why not? I can be conceited now and then. I think we all can. We can all be excessively proud of ourselves. We can all be a bit vain here and there. But it's really... Now, you'll have to forgive me. And you need to understand that it's very difficult to not see yourself in a conceited light when such, let's call them stark juxtapositions are being made between the parties involved. You think this show is good.
It is.
That is
Yeah, I stand by this 100%.
embarrassing. It's more embarrassing than your...
Correct.
We won't go.
What an incredibly based and red-pilled doggo. Insane. What a mad lad.
Boy.
What an absolute fucking mad lad.
So has he spent a lot of this just jerking himself off?
Well, considering that my video was 2 hours and 26 minutes, no, not at all. Also, as I stated before, you need to work on your voice. You need to practice your pronunciation. Here, let me give it a try. Instead of saying,
So has he spent a lot of this just jerking himself off?
you should probably say, so is he going to spend a lot of his time just jerking himself off? Now that we've settled that little nitpick, let's explain why I went ahead and started things off with this. Firstly, it's because these are the first words that you say in your response. This is something that you decide to highlight prominently at the beginning of your video. A little demo reel of what's to come. A highlight of, hey, if you stick with this video, you will get gems such as these. This one, from you, got extra special attention. These are the first words of your video. If they're meaningful enough for you to put them in the video right at the front before everything else, well, I think it's fair that I can comment on it, especially considering that the first time I stumbled across your content, one of the things that I told you was, you need to work on your voice. Your voice is horrific, it's grating, it's terrible. You should fix it, you should strive to improve. It is a legitimately irritating thing about you. It is unfortunate that you do not seem to have taken this advice to heart. Perhaps in time you shall, and if you do, I will be taking part.
飽きるまで付き合って任せてもはや帰る場所などあるまいまだもはや帰る場所などあるまい
partial credit for it. Now that we've got that out of the way, hopefully we'll get something more substantive as we progress. Let's go ahead and skip through this. Aren't I, though? Aren't I just the worst? Ain't I a stinker? For those who don't know, I probably should have said this earlier, but we're already at the beginning anyway. The title of his video is Rags is truly the worst YouTuber in the history of all human existence, with an exclamation mark. You know that's quite a claim, but hearing that from you, Clown Boy, I'd call that a pretty big win if you think that about me. Surely I must be doing something right.
Hello again. We find ourselves in a very familiar situation.
This dude's
Rags has
hairline.
released our video on me.
No, please. See, this is what I'm talking about. Another, not another.
Nar.
Another. Lips. Move them.
I find it almost strange.
But, do you find it kind of funny? Do you find it kind of sad?
I do 20-minute videos, and he releases 2-hour, and then this latest one is actually 2.5 hours. 2 hours and 25 to give him credit.
I find this curious, because I'm essentially, at this point, I'm taking the position of someone who goes to a zoo, and you look at an animal in a cage, and you just sort of, it's not like interesting, but it's certainly not normal. You know, that's kind of how I feel watching this video. Yes, I make long videos. They seem to be fairly well received. I'm a long-winded person. I talk a lot. I have a lot of things to say and opinions to give. I would rather be loquacious than... What is the opposite of loquacious? Would it be reticent? I would rather be loquacious than reticent. What I find particularly interesting, though, is this part here.
2.5 hours. 2 hours and 25 to give him credit.
He says 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 25 minutes to give him credit. I get credit for it not being 2.5 hours. It's better that it's 2 hours and 25 minutes instead of 2.5 hours, which I think is interesting. I wonder what he was thinking when he said that. And, I mean, come on. It's 2 hours, 25 minutes, and 59 seconds. It's 59 60ths of another second. Just say that it's it's 59 60ths of another minute. Just say it's 2 hours, 26 minutes. Come on. Come on, do me the credit. Or is it less credit because that would be a longer video? Curious thing. Let's proceed. Yes, this will be a long video.
He calls it the worst response I've ever seen.
I have watched a lot of response videos in my day, and legitimately, I think that yours is... It's in the running for the worst. It really is. You address basically none of the points. You misunderstand practically everything that's brought up. You fail to understand the most basic concepts of the video. You don't improve your own work in any way. It legitimately, it hits all those check marks for being a horrific response video. But it is entertaining, so give yourself some credit for that. What are these noises? This is great. This isn't making... I'm not making fun of you here. I just think you made a silly noise. I just think it's
I think
funny.
he's making fun of him.
I wonder how many of these I make
And
in my
it's
videos.
funny.
It's probably a lot because my videos are so long.
So I'll go ahead and be blunt. I don't care that much about this.
Pretty sure literally nobody believes you. It's okay to care. You do care. It's fine. It's fine to care. I care. I have your attention. You have my attention. That's okay. That's kind of the point. I sit down, I make these videos, I clearly care. And it's not like I get a point or something if you care. It's fine. It's okay to say that you care. You've made 2 videos about this so far. You clearly do care enough to make videos about it.
Other than I'm interested to see how he's going to defend against a couple of the things I point out in that video.
You know what? I'm certain, like every other point I make, it will go totally over your head, or you won't be able to identify the message, or, I don't know, you'll probably just call me sexist or racist or something. That seems to be your go-to plan B, or plan A, honestly.
I can already tell you a couple things he's gonna do.
Let's hear him.
One of the things I point out very clearly is how, essentially, when you say, hey, somebody did this racism and that's bad, but other bigger people do this racism and that's worse, it's a way of defending racism. It's just what it is.
Saying, you know, this actually isn't the first time I've heard this. As dumb as it is, you might think he's the only person who said this, but no. I was in it was a private conversation. There won't be any details really, but in this argument, I suppose you could call it an argument. That's what it was. I had said that racism is on a spectrum in terms of how bad it is. I think the example I used was specifically, if you hang someone, if you lynch them because of their race, that is far worse racism than calling them a slur. And this person took incredible, indignant offense to that and said, I cannot believe that you are excusing racism. This person was so offended by that they left the conversation very shortly afterwards, after calling us evil, essentially. He left the whole Discord server we were in. Incredible. It's an interesting thing. Remember the IQ thing I started out with at the beginning of this video?
Submarines turned on still.
There are people who hear
Oh
you
my
say, two
god.
things are bad. One of these is worse than the other. And they legitimately, their brain processes that sentence. And it spits it out as, this person's excusing racism. It's baffling. It's mind-boggling. The reason that Clown Boy is talking about this is because one of the original points in the video, somewhere along the line, doesn't really matter, is that Moses Ingram got racist messages. And Disney is really putting a megaphone to this. They're really, really broadcasting it strongly. You can say that those messages are bad and you shouldn't send them. In fact, many, many people did. Pretty much everyone did. Of course. You'd expect them to. This is the majority opinion, of course. And then you can also say how curious it is that Disney is being so high and mighty about racism, particularly to black people, when they have a history of, let's say, kowtowing to the lesser progressive cultures of the world. These are two different issues. They exist close to each other, side by side, but they're not identical. Saying something is bad and saying another thing is hypocritical, they're not conflations of those two things. It's a shame that you're too simple to understand this. I think I've said enough on this topic. If it pops up, maybe I'll just skip over it. I'll link to his video in the description to make sure that I have not omitted any relevant context.
And I'm sure Rags will probably reply to this video too, so I'm sure he'll get to repeat that one.
Sure, why not? I'm here, you're here. Let's go ahead and do it one last time. You can say that two things are bad, and you can say that one of those things is worse than the other, and both of those things can still be bad. You're one of those sub-98ers, aren't you?
And I'm sure his response will be, whoa, they said it's snow.
Sorry, they said it's snow?
Whoa, they said it's snow.
You see, I'm gonna be honest, I legitimately don't know what you said there. This is why I started off with the pronunciation thing. It's actually important. You need to pronunciate well, or else I don't know what you're saying. When you speak to someone, you're reverse mind reading. Language and our mouths and sound is how we transmit thoughts and concepts from your mind into the minds of others. It's important that the medium along the way, that language aspect, you should take care. This is why it's not... I mean, I said it was a nitpick, but when it comes to the point where I can't even understand what you're saying, is it really a nitpick at that point? Please, take a little bit of extra time. Move those lips, move that tongue, shimmy shimmy to the rhythm of nature.
And I don't care. I do not care.
Yes, you do, and it's fine to care.
I get kind of sick of looking at reactions to my videos because largely they just prove me right.
Yes, that is definitely what he... Absolutely. You are certainly not at all getting owned on the internet. Not at all.
And I don't need to watch 2.5 hours of Rags talking about how he's right and I'm wrong.
Correct, yes. When I make a video when I make a video that's that long, I don't actually expect you to watch the whole thing. I really don't. I understand that asking people to watch a 2.5 hour response to them, That's a lot to
Calculator
ask.
that
I
shows
understand
the
that you
wrong
probably
answer.
have things to do. I guess. It's just go ahead and maybe skim through it, get a couple points, maybe tally up a few, get some of your audience to get some maybe timestamps or something like that. You've got options. It's okay if you didn't watch the whole thing. Don't worry about it.
And I also have to wonder, like,
What do you wonder like?
is he gonna be mad that I didn't really go over Obi-Wan in my response? Because guess what?
What? Chicken butt?
I don't care that we have differences in opinion on Obi-Wan. I know clearly he cares.
Yeah, I care. I make videos on the internet. It's my job. I'm interested in these discussions. Yeah, I do care. I know you. All right, that's right. I know you don't care. Definitely. I gotcha. I'm gesticulating even though I'm in front of a microphone and no one can see the dog behind the screen, but it's okay. It's okay to care. I care. I'll happily admit that I care.
But I don't.
You don't care that I care, even though you're making multiple responses to me. It's fine. We gotcha. We gotcha. We totally get it. You definitely do not care.
I think it was a fine series. He thinks it's the worst thing ever.
No, you didn't think it was fine. You said very, very good. I specifically used those words because you said them. I put them as the title of my initial response to you. You said that the show was very, very good. Here's a clip of you saying that. And no, I don't think that Kenobi is the worst thing ever. It's not even the worst thing I've seen recently. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. I think that's the worst movie I've ever seen. I think that's the worst thing ever. I will say that Kenobi is the worst. See, I did that. I say worst instead of worst sometimes. I gotta watch out for that. I gotta catch that. But I think that Kenobi is the worst Star Wars show that Disney's put out. I think it's worse than all the others, Boba Fett, The Mandalorian, stuff like that.
Cool, dude.
My opinions are very cool. Absolutely. We stand united on this topic, I see.
I think you're being hyperbolic and ridiculous, but whatever, man.
Well, considering that it is not my opinion that Kenobi is the worst thing ever, and that is an opinion that you have assigned to me that does not match reality, and then you call that hyperbolic, do I need to say more? I do think that if you're being hyperbolic about my supposed hyperbolic statements, then that would be ironic, wouldn't it?
I do care
Tease.
that you act like a self-important dickhead. I do care about that.
I am the most important person in my life. All of the people that I care about, that I love, that I cherish, that I hold dear, I can do little for them if I am not well, if I am not able, or if I am dead. I do not have any dependents. I do not have any children that I know of. Playa! I am a
dude.
dickhead, though, yes. I am not nice. I am kind.
I was gonna go over a couple comments I've gotten.
Do you have to?
I'm going over the actual comments I've gotten, not
Your
the comments
fucking
Rags has sent
hairline
my
is
way.
just-
I have not sent any comments your way. I have sent you commentary, specifically my commentary, in the form of videos. Perhaps you've heard of them. Just because someone finds out about your video because they watched my video does not mean that any comment they make is a comment I sent your way. Please, grow up, you child. I promise you will not see me bitching about how someone from your audience wrote a comment under my videos after you responded and linked to me. So please, clown boy, act your age, not your IQ.
You can look at the comment section for that one. First off, we got,
Are we really doing this? We're reading random comments?
I can hear him click.
What does this accomplish?
This man went
Who is
out
that?
and
Henry
grabbed
Carper.
and
Harry
he
Carper.
can't even read.
it was already so pathetic you made a 2-hour video just because you said you liked Obi-Wan? True.
Wow, I guess we're really doing this. We're just reading random comments. Okay, well, I'm gonna go pee.
But I'm pretty sure I know why he made that video, and we will get to that. In fact, I'm going to say it for the end. I'm pretty sure I know why he's making these videos against me. So, we will get to that. Zachary Williams points out that he's just going to deflect. And yes, I'm 100% sure he will. That's why I'm not going to watch all 2.5 hours. I don't need 2.5 hours of him yakking on, repeating crap. And then we got Isaac, who actually gave 2 really long ones, but I thought he made some good points. Good lord, how much hatred for a show do you have to make a response video that responds to...
All right, I'm back. Things went well. I peed in the toilet, and it went well. What are we doing now? We still reading comments?
His insults of you liking a show. That sounds pretty convoluted as I say it.
Wait, how is that convoluted? Does he know what that word means?
But seriously, if you hate a show that much, go talk about something else. Like, is there nothing else to talk about?
Do we need to talk about this? Do we need to discuss this? I suppose we could. I mean, Clown Boy brought him up, so we could talk about it if we wanted to. This comment was apparently of a high enough quality that he found it, clipped it, specifically put it in his video to read aloud as a response to me. We could talk about this comment if you want. We can do it. I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. All right, let's do it. Isaac, you are a fool. Has it never occurred to you that maybe I enjoy talking about bad media? I'm going to assume not. If it did occur to you, then you obviously wouldn't have written this comment. In fact, I find this comment on the internet so incredibly wise and insightful that I have saved it as a PNG onto my computer, and I shall cherish it for all time. Until World War III, when the Chinese drop an EMP over my city, and I must resort in the wilderness to hunter-gathering, and then rebuild society using my ginormous schlong to repopulate the earth.
That's a good point.
I agree. Isaac made a very, very good point, and you were right to highlight this in front of the internet.
On the actual video he posted, and he actually made a response video to this video.
The soft implication being that your videos are not worth responding to. Kind of strange, but all right.
Would that make him a grifter or an idiot?
I don't think you know what a grifter is.
I'd call him a narcissist.
Sorry, a common narcissist?
I'd call him a narcissist.
Oh, I'd call him a narcissist. Oh, that's not what you said.
He's the kind of person who would respond to a person that has a different opinion from him with, well, you're wrong because I'm of a higher mind and I can actually understand this, this, and this. You know none of this. And as long as you like this thing, you shall always be an idiot.
Firstly, it is very amusing to watch you try and read. Secondly, my higher mind and my gigantical brain are not what make you wrong. It's just what helps me to be correct on these things, often, as it seems.
To think I thought Robot Head was the worst, this guy takes it to a whole nother level.
Thank you.
Oh, and by the way, 2 hours? 2 hours?
No. The second time Isaac typed out hours, it was in all capital letters, which means you have to say 2 hours? 2 hours? Yeah, like that. You have to give it some feeling.
Who in the name of Sandy would actually want to listen to a video like this for that long?
Wait. Sandy? Who... Is this an idiom that I'm simply not aware of? Who in the name of Sandy? Oh, hold the presses. Sanity. I literally stopped the recording. I went to Google and I typed in who in the name of Sandy, thinking that this was some kind of a regional idiom that I just maybe wasn't aware of. But it was sanity. Who in the name of sanity? Okay, that makes, I guess, more sense. Or less, I don't know.
Less.
The answer is not me. Not me.
However, that being said, it does appear that many people do. So, that's fortunate.
So, like I said, we're gonna get to why he's doing this.
Oh, are we done with comments now? I'm almost sad now. That was very fun. You have people in your audience. That is certainly a fact.
There is one possibility that I've thought of.
All right. Good for you.
Possibility or
But I don't think this is the main reason, but I'm gonna go ahead and bring it up now. So he has his second channel, Dog Bites. His main channel has 325,000 subs.
Yeah, but it's not relevant, right? I don't care about sub count. I don't care if you have 100 or 100,000 or 100 million. It just doesn't make any difference to me. I just care about the things you say and the opinions you have. And if you put your videos out on a public forum and you go out and you say nasty things about people and disparage people, then hey, you are a totally fair target.
But this is his second channel that he posts his stuff on.
You know, I was gonna say that you aren't worth being on the main channel, but then I was like, you know, I'm really enjoying this. I might really edit this one and put you on the main channel. You should be very proud. You would not believe the company that you're with.
And if you look at his view counts,
why are we talking about view counts? Where is this going?
His response to me was his second most successful video, I think, on here. Oh, no, not quite. But it's the second most successful that he's done since, I want to say, Boba Fett.
I mean, I guess the videos did good, but I just don't really care about the numbers all that much, honestly.
Yeah, since Boba Fett. It was probably easier for him. So he'll do a response to my second, me responding, and he'll probably do a response to this one. So, hey, Rags fans, hey, what's up?
So if they all went to your video and they said hello in the comments because you told them hello, is that me sending them there, or how does this work? I'm so confused right now.
But yeah, at the end of this, we are going to get to why he's doing this, because,
I think he's made it apparent.
If you want to know why I do it, I'll just tell you. I do it because it's fun, it's amusing, it's entertaining, it brings joy to many, many, many thousands of people. Also, it makes me money. All of those are the reasons why. Pretty simple. There's no master plan here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's go ahead. I'm not going to watch this whole thing.
That's fine. It's a long video. Don't expect you to. There's a lot of good stuff in there, though. It is quite entertaining. I would recommend it. Also, like and subscribe.
But there's a couple of things I think I want to see.
Awesome. All right, everyone.
God, I am not going to sit through it. Let's see.
Why
I
is
want to
his
see what he says
computer
about
so
neurotic
fucking laggy?
tweets.
You see, here's the problem with your abysmal pronunciation skills. When you say neurotic, I do not know if you are legitimately misspeaking and just mispronouncing nerdrotic, or if you are all, yes, neurotic instead of nerdrotic. Do you not understand? Do you see? Are not I clever? You see, I don't know. I don't know what your angle is here. I'm just going to assume that you fucked up.
All those other buzzwords, I'm sure. In fact,
what you're sure you don't know? You're just like, oh, I'm sure he's probably all those bad things. Yeah. To be fair, I know you're just gonna skip over this part, but what I just played there, or what you just played me doing there, where you just assume all of these terrible attributes about a person so easily and willingly, I feel like that's something that you should probably address. It's a really nasty thing to do. All in all, you should avoid doing that. It's very telling about your character. We're still talking about Nerdrotic and not me. I thought this video was about me. As we already clearly established, I am quite conceited, so yes, this is good writing for Rags. He is within character. Rags the dog would be very out of place in a Disney Star Wars television show.
Here's a recent tweet from him where he's replying to Chris Evans simply saying Sam Wilson is Captain America.
Okay.
Rags then proceeds to do what many...
Wait, what's the... Chris Evans said Sam Wilson is Captain America, which he isn't.
Oh, he's not? He's not? Because I saw Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I'm pretty sure he fucking is, buddy.
You know, I saw Falcon and the Winter Soldier too. In fact, me and all my friends, not all of my friends, me and some of my friends did. I didn't gather all of my friends that I had on a checklist and say, we're going to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Firstly, if I did that, I would lose a lot of friends because that show is fucking horse shit. But also, that sounds like a lot of work. The reason for my hatred of this show can be found in the full-length documentary called Every Frame of Pause, episode number 135. I will link it in the description. It's 11 hours long. We really hate this show. We talk about the plot, the characters, all of the issues, which it has top to bottom, except John Walker is a fucking Chad. That podcast has me. It has Mahler. It has Fringy. It has Jay Longbone. It has Critical Drinker. It has Evan Monroe. It has Jay Longbone. And Jay Longbone. And we talk about that show. Watch it. However, if you don't want to spend 11 hours of your life listening to people on the internet talk about a TV show, you can instead spend 4.5 hours of your life listening to people on the internet talk about a TV show. Birds Elope with the Sun did a neat EFAP little compilation thing that shortened that down in our issues with the show. I'll link that as well. They're both absolutely worth a watch. But essentially, if I want to wrap it up really quick Reader's Digest style, I think that Sam Wilson is essentially absolutely and thoroughly character assassinated in the show Falcon and the Winter Soldier. As such, I believe that he has traits that are completely contradictory to what Steve fought for and lived in his life. And I think that by just saying that he's Captain America does incredible damage to just the term Captain America, and it really devolves it into nothing more than a title that can just be passed essentially arbitrarily from one person to the other. And I value Captain America more than that. Steve Rogers to me is Captain America, not Sam Wilson. Now, some of you might be a little confused. Why are we talking about Nerdrotic? Why are we talking about Steve Wilson and Sam Rogers? Why are we talking... Yes, I mixed those on purpose. That was a hilarious joke. Why are we talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Well, wonder no longer. I will explain why we are. In Clown Boy's initial response to me, he says this.
He calls me a consumer despite the fact that one of the YouTubers he's defending easily has over $1,000 of action figures for his background. That YouTuber is also blatant racist, sexist, and homophobe, and all those other buzzwords, I'm sure. In fact, here's a recent tweet from him where he's replying to Chris Evans simply saying Sam Wilson is Captain America.
This baffled me. I had no idea how this was supposed to be an example of Nerdrotic being racist. So in my first response to seeing these tweets being presented, I said this. Nerdrotic, it doesn't even matter. You're using this as an example of him being racist, sexist, and homophobic.
This is just racist.
But where is it? What's the example?
I'm staring right at it. He's ignoring the fact that Sam Wilson became Captain America in the series, and I'm just pretending that that's fine, because Steve Rogers is still Captain America, even though he definitely fucking isn't. Did you not see the ending?
At this point, of course, I'm still extremely confused. I do not know how this tweet contains any racism, sexism, or homophobia. Clownboy continues to insist that it's extremely obvious, though. How does this show that he's racist or sexist or
Oh my god.
This is why it's important to communicate, especially if you're clearly operating at a different wavelength than the rest of humanity, or doganity. You're so deep in the sludge pond of the identity politics discussion that you can't see how normal, reasonable people look at this sort of stuff. The whole point about communication is putting the thoughts from your head into other people's minds. You can't expect those thoughts to just transmit themselves magically. You're gonna have to say things. You're gonna have to use your words.
Because racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, these are behaviors.
I disagree strongly that these things are behaviors. Let's use good old racism. Let's talk about that. You are insistent that it applies here. There are obviously going to be multiple definitions of racism. It's not a simple thing. The definition of racism that I typically use is the belief that different races possess abilities or qualities so as to distinguish them as inferior or superior to one another. I think that racism is a belief. However, beliefs, they influence our behavior. They certainly can. I would wager it's not particularly controversial to say that the more people hold this belief of racism, the more likely it is that that racism manifests in reality through discrimination or antagonism. That is also to say, people can be racist. They can hold these beliefs, but for whatever reason, they never act on them, which is good that they don't act on them. The most harmful aspects of racism are when it manifests into some kind of a behavior. Now, I'm not sure where you got this idea that you say almost like a catchphrase that racism is a behavior, when it just isn't. Racism is a belief that can lead to behavior.
You don't get people that come out and like to say, hey, I'm racist.
Yeah, that's not typical.
They don't do that. You don't really even get people going out and saying, doing cross. You might get them doing a cross burning, but
Yeah, probably not anymore.
you know what? You're not really going to see that. It's behaviors.
Why do you say it like that with this distinction? Cross-burning is a behavior.
And what we're seeing here is a behavior.
Well, I'm eager beyond all possibility of explanation to learn how this is a behavior of racism. Phobic. Steve Rogers is Captain America and Miles Morales is Miles Morales. Of course he is. What's the racist and sexist element of this? Is it to say that Miles Morales isn't Spider-Man? There is an earnestness in my desire to understand what this individual is trying to tell me, so I start digging and I start looking and I start stretching. My first impression is that he says Steve Rogers is Captain America, Miles Morales is Miles Morales, which is sort of an odd way to set up the statement, I suppose. A person is a title, and then say a person is a person, but I don't even know what that means, because I'm stretching here to find what could be racist about this. Because I would say Miles Morales is Spider-Man, or one of the Spider-Men, right?
So wait, Miles Morales is Spider-Man, but Sam Wilson can't be Captain America? Make up your mind, dude.
The fact that these are two completely different people in two completely different sets of circumstances mean that you could probably believe one and not the other for a wide variety of reasons. I guess you could say Sam Wilson is sort of a Captain America, but he's like so different from Captain America in every conceivable way. It's like, Jesus, it's just a
You know, other than the fact that he goes by the name Captain America now?
name that they're similar. Even after giving, and of course this was off the top of my head in a recording at the time, I gave a short reason why I wouldn't consider Sam Wilson to be Captain America. And of course, we have to say it, going by the name of something doesn't make you that thing. Of course, there's certainly more that could be said regarding the nature of titles, how one takes ownership of designations, the heart of what these things entail, descriptions versus prescriptions, what it means to be something. But honestly, this video's likely already going to be long as it is. And let's be real here, Clownboy is nowhere near mentally capable enough to engage with such conceptually heavy conversations.
He calls me a consumer, despite the fact that one of the YouTubers he's defending easily has over $1,000 of action figures for his background.
Yeah, let's go ahead and tackle this real quick before we move on. I mean, I'm here, you're here, we're all here, let's just do it. If I call you a consumer, and we'll explain why in a moment, you can't say, oh yeah, well, Nerdrotic has a bunch of stuff behind him. Let's be hypothetical here. Let's say that both you and Nerdrotic were consumers. If I call you a consumer, and then you say, well, Nerdrotic is a consumer, you haven't done anything to defend yourself. The most that you could possibly get out of this quote-unquote defense is to maybe point out a potential hypocrisy that I have, which I don't, and we'll explain why. What you're doing here is essentially whataboutism, which is ironic because, well, you say this is something that Nerdrotic does. Let's play the clip. This shit is easy.
If you're going to comment on racism, you must say racism is unacceptable in any situation. Now, one of the tactics YouTubers like Ben Shapiro, Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, and The Quartering do to deflect from this racism is engage in whataboutism. They might even say the racist messages Moses Ingram received are bad, but then they all turn around and point out that Disney did racist stuff to sell their movies in China. This is bad.
I suppose the more obvious irony here is that in your attempt to point out my hypocrisy, you ended up pointing out your own. While a wiser man might consider thinking more carefully before he speaks, I would encourage you to not stop at all with your talking, because this is funny, and I can put it in my videos. Now, as for what makes a consumer, well, I would say that it's somebody who supports and is unfairly uncritical of a franchise or company or a line of products, right? Who constantly finds ways to defend those things or that media by having extremely low standards, lacking the necessary cognitive skills to recognize a lack of quality, or letting these things pass because those things support a particular meta-message or a political stance. In fact, I think you're all of these things. You are a consumer. You consume. You are not appropriately critical of obvious trash tier media like Kenobi, which is what begun this exchange of ours in the first place, and yet you are hyper bad faith critical of people like myself and Nerdrotic, etc. Because we don't align with your ideological lean. Because you are an ideologue. You are not rational. My opinion of Nerdrotic being a consumer is not relevant here. I don't think he is anyway. However, let's say hypothetically, I did think that Nerdrotic was a consumer in the same way that you're a consumer. This would only be a hypocrisy if I called you a consumer, and I acknowledged that he had the exact same traits and was a consumer in the same way, but I gave him a pass. That would be hypocrisy, but that's not what I'm doing. So good try, but it seems to have backfired. Maybe as we progress, you'll put some marks on the scoreboard. Anyway, where were we exactly? Oh yeah, that's right, the Nerdrotic tweet about Captain America. Yeah, I don't see how... You need to work... This is why this is already just the lowest tier response. You think that this is like research? You went into effort to find these clips and to clip them and to put them in
Effort? Yeah, no, this is a very recent tweet.
a video. Yeah, that's effort. You have to go out and do that. It's work. It's not hard work, but it is work. You put in effort to find these things and to edit them and put them in the video. And to catch everybody up who isn't very familiar with video editing, who don't really understand how it works, it's not complex, but if you want an image like this, you need to go to an image editor. I use GIMP, but it doesn't really matter. And then you make a transparent image, then you plop on the 2 clipped tweets, then you save it, and then in the timeline, you have your webcam footage or an icon or maybe an old cherished photograph, and you put that transparent PNG on top of it, and voila, you are finished. Obviously, it took me longer than normal to do this because I had to like screen cap and show the process of doing it, but it's not difficult. It just takes a little bit of effort, a little bit of time. And you thought that effort was worth it, which is totally fine. It's a decision that you alone can make and evaluate, but you thought that the effort of finding those clips and doing all that stuff was worth the point that you thought it was trying to make. And I'm sitting here wondering what the point even is. You should have spent that effort elsewhere, honestly. But it doesn't show what you think it shows. If anything...
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Please explain.
Wow, dude.
Most of your examples seem to say the opposite of what you want it to say. Clown Boy, you do understand that the thoughts in your head, those processes that go on internally in your brain, we are not privy to those. You need to communicate those thoughts to the rest of everybody. This is typically done through like gestures that you could make, nonverbal communication. You could of course tell us with words. The English language seems to be the one you attempt to use the most. We have like text, you could write it out. We have symbols that can be arranged into words, which represent like concepts and objects. You're gonna have to give us something here because we are not picking up what you're putting down. Why would you include this? What is this supposed to tell me about Nerdrotic?
Please say. Yeah, it's clearly racism, dude. Sam Wilson.
No, yeah, definitely, definitely, clearly racism, but just on the off chance that somebody else can't read your mind, do you want to explain why for the rest of us?
Is Captain America. I mean, let's just face it. Sam Wilson is Captain America. Even in what you just said, if you want to say Miles Morales is a Spider-Man, then okay, fine. Sam Wilson is a Captain America. In the MCU, Sam Wilson is Captain America, which is what Chris Evans is replying to.
Yeah, it's great. No one cares. What's the racism part, though?
You're saying that's wrong.
I certainly see Steve Rogers as more of Captain American than Sam Wilson. Sam Wilson's a fucking turd.
I'm saying, gee whiz, I wonder why you're saying that. I can throw out a guess. Okay.
Oh, you're insinuating that because Sam Wilson is a black character, that's the reason why Nerdrotic does not consider him Captain America. Oh. I wouldn't have guessed that. But you know what could really dispel all of this confusion? Maybe Nerdrotic can just tell us himself.
Well, hello. I'm here at the request of Rags to respond to organized chaos accusations that I am a racist. Now, I did a little research into his channel, and in previous videos, I'm paraphrasing here, he said he wouldn't stoop so low as to call somebody an idiot who disagreed with him, but calling him a racist is okay, especially when it's based on this tweet. Steve Rogers is Captain America, and Miles Morales is Miles Morales. This is a factual statement. Steve Rogers is indeed Captain America, and Miles Morales is Miles Morales. I put this on Twitter because it brings a lot of morons to the yard who like to project their hate and vitriol on factual statements, and it really just exposes how stupid Twitter can be. This statement does not say that Sam Wilson isn't a Captain America. It doesn't say John Walker isn't a Captain America, or Isaiah Bradley, who was retconned as the first Captain America, isn't a Captain America. It doesn't say that Bucky Barnes isn't a Captain America. It just says Steve Rogers is Captain America, and the same goes with Miles Morales. He is indeed, again, Miles Morales. He's also a Spider-Man, but in the cultural zeitgeist, Steve Rogers is Captain America. Peter Parker is Spider-Man. I don't make the rules. Main characters get replaced all the time in the comic books, and it can be fun because we know in the back of our mind that Bruce Wayne is coming back, Clark Kent is coming back, Peter Parker's coming back, and Steve Rogers is coming back, just like he came back in the comics after Sam Wilson was Captain America for a little while. Let's just go to the latest Marvel thing, the Marvel Pfizer comic. Do you see Sam Wilson there? No, you see Steve Rogers, Captain America, pushing a vaccine. What sucks is the Falcon is an established character in Marvel Comics and the MCU, played great by Anthony Mackie. He was the second black character in Marvel Comics and the first not to be called Black Falcon or Black this or Black that, and also the first, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, to have a toy, the Mego Falcon. Let's end it with a panel from Avengers 183. It's not my idea, Sam. The government says that they have to have more minority members, and if you don't join the Avengers, priority privileges will be suspended. Oh, well then, maybe I ought to change my name to the Token, huh? Blast it, Steve. I've proven myself as a superhero, and I don't like being chosen to fill a quota.
Ah, well, thanks very much for doing that. I would consider this issue put to rest. Now let's get back to the video.
Rags then proceeds to do what many YouTubers do and nitpick every single element of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Alright, I'm not nitpicking. To be clear, mate, we are clearly operating on different definitions of nitpick. I will clarify. A good boy defines his terms clearly to avoid future confusion. What is a nitpick? To me, a nitpick is a valid criticism that of a piece of media, like a story or whatnot, a production, that ultimately does not impact the plot or the characters. So maybe a little bit of a continuity error in the background, or maybe there's some editing mistake, or maybe maybe an extra is wearing jeans in the Middle Ages or something like that. Little bitty things, right? Just little things that you point out. It's like, that's wrong, that should be changed, but ultimately it's not a big deal. Maybe part of a set that isn't painted, something like that. The things that I talked about are specific canon breaks. They are inconsistencies in the story. They create plot holes within the continuity of Star Wars, or they are the assassination of characters, like Obi-Wan allowing Darth Vader to live at the end, or... Yes.
How does it not
fucking
break
just
canon?
skips forward.
How does that not break canon? If he kills Darth Vader at the end, wouldn't that break canon?
It makes my little fluffy doggy noggin just hurt. Like my head aches because I have to put up with this. I don't have to. I'm voluntarily making this video. It is actually fun, even though I sound dejected and frustrated. I'm having fun. We're having a great time. We're all having a great time. I let that big section where in my other video I was explaining what a nitpick was, I let that play because I was really hoping that we would get some kind of a observation from you, that you might engage with what I was saying, right? Because what you said that things were nitpicks. You said all I was doing was nitpicking, you get that shit all the time, and I was explaining that no, I am not nitpicking. but I guess instead of doing anything substantive, the only part that you seem to engage with is this stupid little section here.
How does it not break canon? How does that not break canon? If he kills Darth Vader at the end, wouldn't that break canon?
Also, that little flash at the end of the editing, that was him, not me. I guess he said other things, and it wasn't good enough to make the final cut of his video. It was a deleted scene that we're just not going to be privy to. Let me explain to you why why you could have been a contender. Let me explain to you why you could have been a contender. I am highlighting that what I am doing when I talk about Kenobi and criticize your opinions on Kenobi is that I am not nitpicking. I am making observations on very impactful stuff like story and characters and plot and da-da-da. Very, very important stuff in any story. I think we could all generally agree. I say this, or they're the assassination of characters, like Obi-Wan allowing Darth Vader to live at the end, or... Yes.
How does it not break canon?
Do you think it's a little strange that before you even say anything to engage with what I've said, you skip ahead in my video? That's kind of, it's just weird. It's weird, okay? It's really strange behavior. It just kind of looks like your priority here is to get away from the argument I'm making. But I specifically, I put the text on screen just for clarity, I specifically link the assassination of characters to an action that Obi-Wan takes. Because there's really a part of me that is genuinely curious what you have to say about this criticism, because I gotta know. Because I think this is a huge writing fuck-up. Obi-Wan knows Darth Vader is evil, acknowledges that his friend is dead, understands that Vader commands power in the Empire and what he will continue to do with that power, and says explicitly that either himself or Vader will die today and it will end. Through the writing of the show, by putting Obi-Wan in a position of power over Vader, and with all of those things understood, Obi-Wan allowing Vader to live is a huge character assassination, and therefore, because of Obi-Wan's cowardice, Darth Vader commits more horrible acts of violence and murder across the galaxy for many, many more years to come. And ironically, you run away too. I specifically mentioned this as a character writing problem. And you say that my issue is, what?
How does it not break canon? How does that not break canon? If he kills Darth Vader at the end, wouldn't that break canon?
The problem is that the writers wrote themselves into a problem. They had Obi-Wan in a position where he could have easily killed Vader and spared the galaxy of his atrocities for years to come, and he didn't. He walked away. There was nothing to prevent this from happening in the environment. He just could have and didn't. That's a decision that he made as a character. I mean, they didn't even come up with some super insane contrivance like the planet splitting in between them so they couldn't finish their fight. Because, you know, Disney Star Wars, that's really good, guys. It's really good stuff.
Whether he dies or I do, this ends today. Goodbye, Darth.
And I have to say, that was a damn good episode. Overall, I think it was very, very good.
Now, believe it or not, that's everything Clown Boy has to say about the nitpick stuff and the character thing there. That's it. He just goes on. He skips ahead in the video. This next segment is when I criticize the lightsaber behavior in episode 4 of Kenobi. While I was making fun of the way the lightsaber seems to bounce off of the stormtrooper outfits like it's a plastic or rubber bat, he decides to play clips from Return of the Jedi. In the video we're covering now, he responds to that. Sort of. My criticism of this scene in Kenobi that we're watching in the top right is that he attacks these stormtroopers with his lightsaber, and it seems like he's just hitting them with a plastic stick or like a baseball bat because of the way it sort of bounces off of them. It doesn't cleave through them like you would expect a lightsaber to do, especially knowing how it could slice through battle droids with ease, and those are made of metal. You cannot show Return of the Jedi and say that I'm wrong or that I'm being inconsistent, because I'm not. Because if I was to change something in Return of the Jedi, I feel like some of those hits were probably should be going through people.
Okay, so he just pretty much essentially admitted it's up to creators' choices at this point.
What? I mean, the creator of
What?
the piece of media,
Huh?
it is their choice in the sense of they're the ones who decide what's going to be in the media. They are the creator of the thing. So, yeah, the person making the thing decided to make the thing that way. Thank you. That's very helpful. The entire point of what I was saying is that I am criticizing their decision to make things that way. I am saying that if I was the creator of Return of the Jedi, don't hold it against me, I would have that lightsaber maybe doing a little bit more damage. Because that seems far more consistent with what would actually happen if you went around slicing people up with a lightsaber. You know, it seems more reasonable to me. The only way that playing a Return of the Jedi clip in an attempt to nullify my Kenobi complaint is if I said they did it perfectly in Return of the Jedi, or they did it really well in Return of the Jedi. That would probably be a little bit of an inconsistency on my part, but I didn't say those things. So you playing something... This is kind of like whataboutism here. You're not defending Kenobi from my criticism. You're just saying in Return of the Jedi, it behaves in a somewhat similar way. And even then, that's a stretch, because every time Luke hits someone in Return of the Jedi with that lightsaber, yeah, there aren't limbs flying off and people going in half, but it only takes one swipe and they fucking die.
Yes, Star Wars is a fictional universe. It's up to creators' choices how the lightsabers work.
Thanks, that's staggeringly unhelpful, but it's sort of the problem, isn't it? We were just talking about the Obi-Wan and Vader scene in Kenobi and how Obi-Wan lets Vader go. You asked, wouldn't it break canon if Obi-Wan let Vader live? Yes, it would. It would break canon. But what if I said in response to that it's up to the creator to decide how they want the story to play out? The mechanics of a lightsaber allow for stories to happen. How would you feel if the person who made episode next or whatever new show they're making, what if that creator just decided that actually lightsabers aren't super hot pieces of rigid, I don't even know, plasma. They were flimsy, noodle-like, and they froze things on contact. What would you say then? Would you just say that it's up to the creators to decide how lightsabers work? Because I would have a problem with that. You can't... this isn't an invalidation of what I've said. Especially because I specifically talk about how it is in the prequels. An important piece of information. I don't compare the lightsaber behavior in the Kenobi show to the lightsaber behavior in Return of the Jedi. I talk about how it slices through battle droids in the prequels. Showing some lightsaber behavior from segments of Return of the Jedi, that's not a strategy that you want to go with. So if you're trying to even be more specific to counter me, then why are you showing something that's not from the prequels? I'm not comparing this lightsaber to the lightsabers in the original.
Why is he trying to skip?
I'm pointing out that there's a history of lightsabers acting like this, and you want to pretend like Obi-Wan was the first one to do it. No.
I didn't say that Obi-Wan was the first to do this. I said... Why am I even entertaining this? He's saying that it's okay that it's bad because it was bad before. Like, I don't think it's good. If it's the second time it wasn't good, the first time it wasn't good is also bad. What is this person? Like, are you is this a joke? Is this a bit? Am I falling? Are you playing a character?
Lightsabers act how creators want them to act.
Yeah, they sure do. You think that this Kenobi show was very, very good. That's embarrassing. It is embarrassing. Just so we're clear. That's embarrassing. Yes.
Of course he thinks himself a space Jesus. A little conceited there.
That you think... Well, I mean, to be fair, next to you, this show is good. It is. That is... Yeah, I stand by this 100%. Embarrassing. It's more embarrassing than you. Correct. What an incredibly based and red-pilled doggo. Insane. What a mad lad. What an absolute fucking mad lad.
So has he spent a lot of this just jerking himself off?
No.
Jesus.
Oh, I just want to give him money right now. Ah, now we're getting into the Obi-Wan Kenobi in the original trilogy section. I think you'll find this pretty interesting. I'll let the video play for a moment where I lay out my thoughts. Especially considering who Obi-Wan is. Obi-Wan is willing to... It shows that Obi-Wan is kind of... He's got this streak in him at this point in the OT. Where he's willing to kind of stretch the truth to get Luke to kill Vader. That's why Obi-Wan allows himself to die, in a sense. I think when he looks over to Luke before he dies, I think there's an aspect of Obi-Wan who allows himself to be killed by Vader so that it further motivates Luke to kill Vader himself.
Wow.
Which, by the way, I stand by. I think that's interesting. I think that is a very valid read on Obi-Wan's character here, particularly...
That's a fucked up read on Obi-Wan's character. I'm sorry, you think Obi-Wan was setting up Luke to kill Vader? That's fucked up, dude. That's seriously fucked up.
Let's let that sink in again. Clarity is of the utmost importance.
That's a fucked up read on Obi-Wan's character. I'm sorry, you think Obi-Wan was setting up Luke to kill Vader?
I understand that some of you might be yelling at your monitors right now, but hold on. We'll keep that in our back pockets for later. I think it's a totally valid scene. A totally valid way to interpret this scene. 100% I think that.
I mean, you can interpret it how you want. That's not the scene, though. What you're dealing with right now is fan fiction, buddy.
I make two claims here. That Obi-Wan's ultimate goal was for Luke Skywalker to defeat Darth Vader and the Emperor. And two, that Obi-Wan uses his death to further motivate Luke to carrying out that goal. So when I say that Obi-Wan is willing to stretch the truth to Luke Skywalker in order to get him to carry out that goal, I'm obviously referring to this.
Why didn't you tell me? You told me Vader betrayed and murdered my father.
Your father was seduced by the dark side of the Force. He ceased to be Anakin Skywalker and became Darth Vader. When that happened, the good man who was your father was destroyed. So what I told you was true, from a certain point of view.
Obi-Wan, in the short time that he knew Luke, figured that if Luke knew the truth about Darth Vader, he would be reluctant to kill him. This turned out to be a correct assessment.
I can't kill my own father.
Let's return to our first point. What was it that you said?
Sorry, you think Obi-Wan was setting up Luke to kill Vader? That's fucked up, dude. That's seriously fucked up.
In The Empire Strikes Back, when Luke is almost frozen to death on Hoth, he sees an apparition of Obi-Wan Kenobi, a Force ghost. Obi-Wan Kenobi explicitly tells him to go to the Dagobah system and be trained by Yoda. Why do you think Obi-Wan wanted Yoda to train him as a Jedi Knight? Well, you don't have to wonder, because explicitly, Obi-Wan and Yoda both explain why.
You must face Darth Vader again.
I can't kill my own father.
That is in Return of the Jedi. In The Empire Strikes Back, they're just as explicit.
Only a fully trained Jedi Knight, with the Force as an ally, will conquer Vader and his Emperor.
Almost everything that Obi-Wan Kenobi does in the original trilogy is done to further his goal of Luke killing Vader. Introducing him to the Force training and to the lightsaber, encouraging him to join him on his trip to Alderaan, not telling Luke Vader's identity, telling him to be trained by Yoda, who also wants him to conquer Vader, telling him that he's the galaxy's only hope. All of this is so blatant. And how this basic, obvious, well-understood concept escapes you it's legitimately baffling. How can you possibly consider yourself in any good standing to talk to me about Star Wars when this basic fact eludes you? It is the core motivations of one of the most well-known fictional characters in all of media. You don't only seem to disagree, you think that it's,
fucked up.
That I recognize Obi-Wan's goals to be such. I suppose that you think it's also just as fucked up that virtually every other person who knows this character would think the same. I've literally never heard any other interpretation of this character's goals. They're so blatant and obvious. and they're so explicit. I admit, a part of me is legitimately curious what you think Obi-Wan Kenobi's motivations were throughout the original trilogy.
Get off of my desk.
I don't know what to say. Like, you know when Luke tells him that he can't kill his own father? Do you understand? Do you know what Obi-Wan's reaction is to that?
Then the Emperor has already won. You were our only hope.
So that's a thing that I had to explain that I never thought I'd have to explain. Let's move on to number 2. That Obi-Wan Kenobi uses his own death to further motivate Luke to that goal. So the first thing that I want to ask you, and I suppose anyone else, have you watched this scene lately? When was the last time you watched the scene? Because being familiar with the material just might open your eyes to things that have faded from memory. It happens to me all the time. That's why before I write these things down, if I script at all, before I get my thoughts in order, before I finalize my opinions for the moment, because my opinions are always tentative. But I will rewatch the scene, and I will notice things that maybe I misremembered. And I think it would serve you well to do the same. So let's describe what happens. Darth Vader is waiting for Obi-Wan Kenobi near the hangar bay. As they have their confrontation, 5 stormtroopers are guarding the entrance to the Millennium Falcon, which means that our other heroes are unable to board. But when the stormtroopers notice the commotion of Vader and Obi-Wan's fight, they go on over, leaving the ramp to the Millennium Falcon open for everyone else to get on board. And as they make their way to the Falcon, Luke notices Ben. And Ben notices Luke. In fact, once Obi-Wan notices that he's being watched by Luke Skywalker, his expression instantly changes, and he turns his gaze back to Vader. And the look on his face is far from subtle. Perhaps you remember this event playing out slower than it really does, because it only takes a moment for Obi-Wan Kenobi to allow Darth Vader to kill him, and he becomes one with the Force. Upon seeing the death of Obi-Wan Kenobi, Luke lets out a cry. He's very, very emotionally distraught at seeing this. You know, oddly enough, Leia doesn't seem to have much of a reaction at all to Luke being killed, even though they totally met before, guys. They totally had a relationship before, but yeah, definitely. Star Wars is really well written nowadays, guys. It's great. I held the concept that Obi-Wan allowed himself to die in front of Luke to further motivate him fairly strongly before. In rewatching this scene as many times as I have now, it's only further cemented that as what I believe to be an extremely valid interpretation that was meant to be understood by the director. Obi-Wan believed that he was going to die either way, so he used his death to make sure he motivated Luke.
You must face Darth Vader again.
That's a fucked up read on Obi-Wan's character. I'm sorry, you think Obi-Wan was setting up Luke to kill Vader? That's fucked up, dude. That's seriously fucked up.
So, yeah, checklist done. Number 1, number 2, let's go.
Oh, I did not think Obi-Wan was doing that.
Okay, that's fine if you don't. I think a lot of people, they don't really think about it that much. But again, I think my interpretation of Obi-Wan's character, particularly when we have him as a Force Ghost talking to Luke, I think it's totally fucking valid. If you want to explain why this interpretation is not valid, feel free to. I would like to know if I'm wrong.
So I have to disprove him. It's not important that he prove his point. It's important that I disprove him. I see how your mind works.
Or not. Don't make me laugh. You are horrifically unequipped to even begin to understand how my mind works. I am far and away your superior, both physically and mentally. It's legitimately rare that I see somebody as staggeringly stupid and incapable of conceptualizing basic concepts as you. You're a treat. Now, I understand that probably comes across as very conceited and cocksure and smug, but, I mean, let's be honest, I bet most of the people in my audience could realistically say the same thing. I mean, it's not a really high bar we're setting anyway. You've seen this guy, and we still have more to go.
So I have to disprove him.
Well, I mean, you could try, you know, you could put forth some effort to do that. I think that would be really nifty. It would certainly be interesting. Don't get too hung up on this concept of disproving. I have an interpretation of a scene, and if you disagree with it, what you could do, right, is you could gather some evidence from the scenes, from the lines of his character, from his expressions, from, you know, from the material of the film that we're talking about, and you could use that info to say, you know what, maybe Rags is wrong. He got the wrong read on this scene, and here's why. And you could make, you know, like a compelling case for your argument. You know, that would be neat. I mean, that's what I did. I have an interpretation. I think it's valid. You doubted it, and so I showed you evidence and clips and scenes from the film. I mean, multiple films, even. The evidence abounds. And surely, I suppose I don't really know. I'm not going to pretend to mind read or guess what you think, but surely you do think that people can have invalid interpretations of things, right? Like people can interpret data wrong? I mean, let's just keep it to media and Star Wars. What if someone in the scene that we've been discussing said that their interpretation was that, I don't know, Darth Vader was riding a bright red unicycle with a horn and he was constantly honking the horn throughout the scene? What if someone said that was their interpretation? Surely you would say that that's not a valid interpretation, right? Because it has no grounds to reality.
It's not important that he prove his point. It's important that I disprove him. I see how your mind works.
Or not. Well, I mean, you could try. Wouldn't that be fun if you tried instead of just saying,
"Oh, that's so fucked up. I can't believe that. That is so totally fucked up, dude."
I guess that felt really good to say in your lazy ass video, but I mean, it's not going to convince anybody. It is not what we call compelling.
It's also why I don't think I am. And okay, we get Luke to kill his father.
No, you're wrong. Already, at this point in time, Luke, nobody knows that Darth Vader is Luke's father. Luke thinks that Darth Vader and his father are two different people. All he's been told about Darth Vader is that Darth Vader killed Luke's father. Luke already has a reason to believe his father killed Darth Vader. This here, as I said, is further motivation for Luke to want to kill Darth Vader. He's at the Obi-Wan's at the end of his rope, and he is allowing himself to die in front of Luke, looking over and seeing Luke, knowing that Luke is watching this. He allows himself to die to further motivate Luke to kill Darth Vader, which...
Oh my god. You're gonna nitpick my analysis, then double down. Cool. Dude, listen, it's very obvious.
Well, I mean, now I'm certainly doubling down once more. I'm tripling down, yes. Until you try and convince me otherwise, I will continue to hold this position. In fact, I hold it stronger now than ever.
Obi-Wan was in a corner.
Well, actually, no, he wasn't cornered. There's a hallway right there.
If he dies in that moment, they will see him die, realize they can't save him, and leave.
I don't think that makes nearly as much sense, considering that, one, he looked over and he could see that they were there at the entrance of the Falcon, that they could have left. They were in the process of leaving, in fact. And also, this expression here, it doesn't scream, "Ha, Vader, if you kill me, my friends can leave." I mean, it might have played into his decision-making, but given the timing and, again, the expression and what he said earlier about, if you strike me down, I'll be more powerful than you can ever imagine, it seems to support my interpretation more.
The other option is, he continues fighting Vader and then he possibly gets them all killed?
I think here in this fight, Obi-Wan knew that he couldn't defeat Vader. Vader had simply grown too strong, and Obi-Wan was just not there anymore. Obviously, Obi-Wan was put into a non-ideal situation, and he made a choice that ultimately, I think, ended up paying off in the end. You offering this hypothetical, it doesn't seem to make much sense to me, because regardless of which one of our interpretations are correct, he's still going to die here in front of Luke, right? So I don't know why you would propose a hypothetical where he does something completely different when he, either way, would think that what he did is the best option. If anything, we're arguing as to why he did it and his state of mind, his intentions.
This was Obi-Wan's only way out.
Well, yeah, probably, and he knew that. He certainly believed it to be true.
I am certain if Obi-Wan had another way out where he could get on the Millennium Falcon and fly away, he absolutely would.
Yeah, maybe, I suppose, but he was in a situation where he believed that he would die, and he wanted to make the most of that death to further motivate Luke. Personally motivate Luke even further.
Because why the fuck wouldn't he? He won't be dead.
If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Don't you think the Empire would much rather he be dead than alive?
I don't think Obi-Wan cared what the Empire would prefer.
The Empire doesn't want him alive.
I don't know, a part of me thinks that if the Empire had a do-over, they might say, you know, that old guy, maybe we shouldn't have killed him so he became more powerful than we could have ever imagined.
And it's much better for Luke if Obi-Wan's alive to be with him.
I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. It really only matters what Obi-Wan believed would be the case, not what would actually be true. And you're really focused on this hypothetical that I'm not proposing or saying should have happened, so that's kind of strange. I kind of wish you'd spend all this energy engaging with things that I have said, but oh well.
He doesn't let himself die so that Vader can, so that Luke has motivation to kill Vader, who in your scenario is not Luke's father at this moment.
No. It's not about what is true. It's what the players believe to be true in this game. Luke does not believe that Darth Vader is his father. As far as Luke is concerned, his father figure, has already been killed by the Empire. That's a lot of motivation. But having even more personal motivation to kill Darth Vader personally, because Darth Vader personally killed Obi-Wan, that's further motivation. And it's strong motivation. Not even someone as mentally stunted as yourself could possibly argue that Obi-Wan did not allow himself to die. The question is what his real motivations were. What was the extent of his intentions with this kind of death?
This is just fucking wrong. I'm sorry. You are fucking wrong here.
Okay, could you explain why, please? Because you've been tilting at windmills for a while now, and it would probably be best if you addressed what I've said instead.
There is no interpretation of this scene where Obi-Wan looks over and says, "Oh, you know what? I'll let myself die so Luke will be motivated to kill Vader."
Really? There's no interpretation of the scene that says that. It's really interesting that you do bring that up, because it just so happens that while I was watching this video one morning, I went out to have breakfast with my father, and I asked him about the scene specifically because I wanted to get his read on it. And when I told him that it was the intention of Obi-Wan to allow himself to die in front of Luke to further motivate him to kill Vader, even my father said that, yeah, he thought that was the intention of the scene. This is just an anecdote to show that I can bring it up to somebody else and they agree with this interpretation. It's not an uncommon one. Not only that, but you describe the scene exactly as it happens. Luke shows up, Obi-Wan looks to Luke, he looks back to Vader, and allows himself to die. This stuff happens within a matter of seconds. I've presented evidence and I've explained myself. If you would like to tell me why that is not a valid interpretation of the scene, in fact, it doesn't even seem to be possibly valid, then I would like to hear that.
That is fucking wrong.
Well, telling me it's fucked up and wrong isn't actually a rebuttal, so let's just carry on. Which is Obi-Wan's ultimate end goal. Calls into question why he didn't fucking kill him himself at the end of the Kenobi Shobi. Kinda...
Because this is your fucking fan fiction.
Just to remind everybody, so that we're all on the same page, Clown Boy does not think that Obi-Wan wants Luke to kill Vader. Just to be clear, I know that sounds insane, but I just need to stress that that's what his opinion is. Okay.
This is not Star Wars canon that you're talking about.
All right, if you say so.
You're getting mad at Obi-Wan Kenobi series for not following your fucking head fiction.
You must face Darth Vader again.
I can't kill my own father.
Strange super ruination of the character that he allows Vader to persist committing evil acts. By the way, I really, really wish that Clown Boy would address this, because it's such a damning piece of writing in the Kenobi show that Obi-Wan allows Vader to live. That's insane. And I want an explanation. That's what I want. I want him to address this. But again, I think it's a totally valid thing. That's why, when Luke talks to Obi-Wan later, he's like, "Hey, you told me Darth Vader killed my father." And Obi-Wan says, yeah, I was right in a certain point of view. Yeah, in a manner of speaking, yeah, he did.
Yes, it's called a fucking retcon.
I legitimately do not know what your point is by calling that a retcon, as if that's some kind of a defense? Or I don't even know what you're trying to say here. Whether the reveal of Luke Skywalker's father being Darth Vader is a retcon or not, I think is legitimately a subject for discussion. I don't know what this is supposed to do for your argument. Whether Darth Vader is or is not Luke's father, that doesn't change what I'm saying about Obi-Wan's motivations here. He wants Luke to kill Vader, and he's utilizing his own death to do so. Retcons about his parentage don't change anything about what I've said. Obi-Wan wants Luke to kill Darth Vader. Is this...
Oh my god. He is mad at the Obi-Wan Kenobi series because it's not following his fucking headcanon.
You must face Darth Vader again.
I can't kill my own father.
Fucking headcanon. Your headcanon is not fucking Star Wars canon, Rags.
We gotta get you watching some Chernobyl, so we can... Chernobyl, great show, love it. We can get some performances, man. Yeah, so this was in response to him calling something very good, and I said, no, if you think this is good, we're gonna have to show you some actual good stuff so you can get a good frame of reference. That was...
Yeah, he absolutely pre-watched this too. So, okay, good
That's
to know.
my point in my video. Yeah, so, kind of. Like, I won't watch the entire thing necessarily, but I'll listen to enough before I decide it'll be video material. And it keeps things fresh and exciting. Who knows what surprise will happen next? Every minute's a banger, especially with you. Who knows what you're gonna say next? I guess the Chernobyl thing is just gonna get passed over. Oh well. Which, by the way, I think I made abundantly clear what my point was.
But he also doesn't know who Joel Egerton is. They didn't give Joel Egerton that much to do, but what he did have to do, did a great job.
Let me look up Joel Egerton. Is he... Oh, he's Uncle Owen. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's got some good moments, sure. What's sad about this is that this really skirts the line about whataboutism.
Whataboutism. This is just showing you don't know as much as you like to act like you know about. That's what this is showing.
So I can understand that that's your intention, but it doesn't mean anything.
Joel Egerton's a fairly famous guy. If you're going to talk about media, especially movies, you should probably know who Joel Egerton is. He's not nobody.
If you're going to talk about media, you should know who Joel Egerton is. So, let's be clear. If I was to make a Kenobi review, not that that's at all something that I'm interested in doing, no, but if I was to make a Kenobi review or talk about the show Kenobi, it doesn't matter if I know who Joel Egerton is. It's literally irrelevant. If I talk about the Kenobi show, it'll be about the writing and the characters and the plot, the thematics, the elements of the storytelling. Whether or not I know the name of who plays Uncle Owen, it's not going to factor into my review in any way whatsoever. If I made a review of Kenobi and talked about all of those things and I didn't know that Ewan McGregor played Obi-Wan Kenobi, it wouldn't change anything about the review. Besides, if we were to magically sift through your mind, do you think that we'd find maybe one or two or dozens or hundreds of examples of you not knowing who a somewhat prominent media figure is in the movie-making space? Do you think that leveraging this criticism at me is one that you can stand up to scrutiny with yourself? But I don't think it quite gets there. My point was very specific, as I mentioned what my point was. My point was very clearly, if you think this thing is high quality, we're going to have to actually introduce you to some high quality pieces of media so that you have a good frame of reference. That has nothing to do with me knowing the name of an actor. And I do stand by what I said here, even after more reflection. I think that what I said is correct. Knowing the name of an actor, I would probably put fairly low in my list of things you should know when you're talking about media. And let's be real, Clown Boy. Maybe you shouldn't be telling me that I need to know things about Star Wars in a meta sense when you literally don't think that Obi-Wan wanted Luke to kill Darth Vader. At this moment, I can think of few people who are less qualified to talk about Star Wars than you are.
Well, it kind of shows that you don't know as much as you think, do ya?
Maybe. I don't even know how to begin to qualify if I know as much as I think I know. Would I lowball myself? Would I overestimate myself? I legitimately don't know. I'm familiar with the Socrates quote, "The only true wisdom is in knowing that you know nothing." And in my adventures on the internet, I've seen plenty of people fall into the Dunning-Kruger trap many, many times, so I try to keep that in mind as I progress. But, you know, if you're this desperate to put a point on the scoreboard for yourself, and you think that it's really, actually, truly, veritably a meaningful point to score, to say that in that moment I didn't know who the actor's name was who played Uncle Owen, then, man, you take it, you know? It's like someone who breaks into your car at night and steals, like, napkins. You can't even get angry at that. You're like, man, whoever broke into this car, they must really, man, I feel bad for them if they felt like they had to steal napkins, you know? That's kind of how I feel about you right now.
Because here's the deal, when you watch lots of media, like I definitely have, and I'm sure you have too, Rags.
Okay, so for starters, I'm legitimately shocked at the somewhat good faith assumption that I've watched a lot of media. That actually really surprised me. However, no, not really. I don't actually watch that much media. Watching stuff for EFAP keeps me busy, and I'm really more of a gamer than a watcher. So, yeah.
You get familiar with names of actors, directors, screenwriters, producers even.
And I would definitely say that I'm more familiar with a lot of these names now than I used to be.
It can get pretty far. You even learn, like, cinematographers and shit like that. Roger Deakins is great.
I don't know who that is.
Joel Edgerton's a name that gets brought up semi-often. You hear about him doing some sort of major project at least once every couple years.
He gets brought up once every couple years, so I should devote his name to memory. Uh-huh.
So if you don't know about it, it speaks to your actual expertise.
Yeah, my area of expertise is not remembering the names of actors, cinematographers, and producers. Correct, yes. In much the same way that your area of expertise is not watching shows and remembering what happens in them. In any event, Clownboy skips ahead to my video where I am responding to his accusation of racism against myself. Clownboy believes that I am a racist because I called Riva a clown person.
What is the issue is that throughout his video reaction, he engages in mild racism himself, calling Riva a clown person. Something I'd be shocked if he said if Riva was being played by a white man. But you know what? I'll give him a little bit of credit and say, maybe I don't know that, but I doubt it.
Yeah, you heard that right. I called Riva a clown person, which means I'm a racist. Now, could it be because I think the character is silly? Because she's unintentionally funny? Because she does strange and amusing things? Because she's in no way imposing when it's the intention of the writers? Nah, obviously, I just must be a racist. This is like the reverse of Occam's razor. It's like Occam's sledgehammer. And I really love this pathetic little insurance policy here.
But you know what? I'll give him a little bit of credit and say, maybe I don't know that, but I doubt it.
You can't make blatant racist accusations and then think that you're being magnanimous to say that, well, there's a chance they might not be a racist, but that you doubt it. You're trying to have your cake and eat it too. You want to be able to call people racists, and you also want to have some kind of a back door to slide out of when people call you out for that. It's unbelievable. Do you understand how insanely bad faith this is? For you to say, oh, Rags calls Riva a clown person. For reasons, by the way, are fully documented on YouTube in our watch-throughs. And then to say, well, if Riva was white, he wouldn't call her a clown person, because he uses...
Well, I did hedge that quite a bit by saying probably. Maybe you would call her a clown person if she was white. It's just a little suspicious terminology.
No, you didn't hedge that quite a bit. If anything,
but it has
you
so
just doubled
full.
down and
Oh
said
my
that you
God.
doubt I'm not racist. You absolutely do not get to weasel out of this one. We're holding you to it. I called a character a clown person. And instead of it being for literally any other explanation, your shallow, ideologically blinded mind figured that the most likely reason was because racism. And as I told you, EFAP, the 5 of us here, we watched through the entire season. Our reactions to each episode, they're online. This is available for public viewing at no charge whatsoever. All 5 of us on this panel, as we watch through, conclude that she's a poorly written character, and we find her very silly. Are they all racist too? Or is it just me?
Because I don't even get why she's a clown person. You can argue she's poorly written. I don't see where she's a fucking clown.
Why did you flourish like that?
Obi-Wan.
What are you doing? Stop
You are
it.
such a clown.
Obi-Wan.
All she needs is the little glass bottles to stack together.
I can feel you.
It was kind of nice, very briefly, when he talked about the Obi-Wan thing.
He goes on a rant where he cries about being called a Nazi, a racist, a sexist, a homophobic.
Yeah, I would like it if I was not called these things. As a bisexual guy, it would be nice if I wasn't called homophobic. As a person who streams with a black guy and my best friend growing up was half black, half Asian, it would be really cool if I was not called racist all the time, especially when I criticize a character.
It's kind of interesting you have to bring that up, though.
You think it's kind of interesting I'm bringing it up after you called me a racist for thinking that Riva was a clown person? You think that's interesting? It's like, how does your mind work? It's like, yeah, I'm responding to you.
Yeah, it sure is interesting that he's bringing something up in response to something that I said in a response he's making to me. Very interesting. When will the madness end?
Because let's face it,
oh, I'm so ready to face it.
As I've already said, racism, all that shit, it's behavior.
Is calling Riva a clown person my racist behavior?
It's not you going out saying, oh, fuck all black people. It's behavior. If you're constantly having to remind people of your associates and your sexuality, maybe you need to look at yourself.
So just to be clear, you're saying that my racist behavior is me defending myself against ridiculous, frivolous racism claims by you. And that is further evidence that I'm right. Oh, this is an entertaining video. I can't believe it. His racist behavior is defending himself against my racist claims. Only a racist would I mean, like, what if someone called you a racist, and then when you defended yourself by whatever reason you wanted to, I used that as further evidence you were a racist? Surely you wouldn't enjoy other people doing that to you, right? So why would you do that to other people? Like, I know it might come across as slightly juvenile for me to bring up ye olde golden rule, but surely that must have been in your head a possibility of defense, right? Anyway, up next in his response to me, Clown Boy gets a clip from an older video of mine, Video Games Are Racist, that I made back in, I don't know, 5 years ago. That, I think this is the Witcher 3 was racist video. This is old school.
He is the one who is truly unworthy.
Yeah, I'm
Games
unworthy.
that feature human characters are pretty freaking white.
Imagine being so racist and focused on skin color that this is a problem to you.
Yes, based, true. The dog is so correct. I was right back then and I'm right now.
According to a landmark
Oh, guys, he just gonna double down on all this shit.
2009 study.
After this, he plays another clip from the video before he ends his original response to me, his credits roll and whatnot. And I legitimately just don't know what he's trying to say. I don't know. He doesn't say it. He just sort of plays the clips as if they speak for themselves in some way. In fact, his apparent annoyance at my doubling down is all the commentary that we get for these old clips of me from 5 years ago. Which I assume, I guess, if you want to call that doubling down, sure. I really just feel like I've spoken something years ago, and you're just sort of implying that that's a really bad thing, but you're not explaining in any way how it is, so, I mean, I'm not going to change my mind based on that. I don't know what your strategy is here. He just plays these clips and sits there like a lemon and doesn't say anything, and I don't know what I'm supposed to take away from that. You're gonna have to communicate with me, clown boy. I can't read minds like you pretend to. The next segment of his response to me was an odd one. He played some clips from Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, etc., claiming that these clips showed them to be racist even though they did the opposite. Though that's not the important aspect as far as it pertains to this. He played a clip from me as well after he played the other clips, and my voice sounded distinctly different.
You fucking lefties are always crying wolf on the racism and the bigotry and the transphobia stuff. You're always fucking crying wolf on it. I bet a lot of those supposed racist messages aren't actually racist. And I'm not excusing the ones that are, of course. I'm just saying.
My voice was either pitched up or the clip was sped up, and this was not done to any other content creator except for myself. In fact, I double-checked to see if it was a pitch up or if the video had been sped up, and indeed, it seems the video had been sped up.
Now, I'll go ahead and just say that clip must have ended up still sped up because it does sound weird. Like I said, there was lots of technical issues with this video.
It's the kind of thing that I wonder why you didn't catch on a rewatch, and at this point, I'm certainly in no position to think that you are operating on good faith on anything that you do. It's doubly weird that that sort of thing should only affect me, who you are directly responding to, and considering that your video's editing was insanely simplistic. You essentially just plop.
I'm gonna have to end this here because I'm gonna have to get ready to start prepping for cooking and shit.